I'll be with you in just a moment. Hello there. Oh, hello there. I didn't see you come in this hour. Hi. It's been a weird few hours. Where should we start? Should we start with the good news? Yeah, let's start with the good news. So the good news.
Well, that's working, so I guess that's good news.
I swear to God, everything wants to fight me now, after I press start. Like, really? Messenger doesn't want to load my shit without putting in a code after I started. Fucking YouTube doesn't want to pull up the stream after I started. Okay. Stop monitoring my own voice, or else this isn't happening. Okay. So good news. Let's start with the good news, okay? It's always a good idea to start with the good news. Let's channel 5. There we go. There we go. There we go. Let's start with the good news. The good news is RTX noise works. Also, I'm going to be eating for a bit. Just bear with me. RTX noise works. Hooray! That's a good thing, right? That's a good thing, right? He said. The noise suppression is on, along with all of our earlier filters, plus a refinement of all my earlier filters. So now, my sound has gone from this, which is not great, to this. With customized strength levels and a bunch of nonsense, and generally sounds great.
That's awesome. You want to know what it was? Get this. You're gonna love this one. So again, I'm getting into all this shit now, right? And learning terms like RTX noise and all this shit now in my life. And I'd never really known anything about it before. And, you know, all things considered, there are worse things. There are worse ways to learn. But it does mean sometimes. By the way, we will play the game in this session, but only a little. There are worse things out here than learning certain skills late, you know? There are, you know? Get this.
Jeez.
Imagine learning about a sound feature called RTX noise. NVIDIA. Of course, when you have an NVIDIA PC that you just bought, that was meant to do all these wonderful things like stream and like be good at streaming. A mule, a workhorse. Imagine that for a moment. And then discovering everybody says this is the best thing to use for noise suppression. But it's not actually natively installed on the PC. You have to go get it. Yeah, that's fine. That's not the worst thing in the world. That's not the worst thing. But then discovering that the sliders on it don't seem to work the way they're supposed to. I'm just being confounded by that. Thinking to yourself, that's weird. And then watching tutorial video after tutorial video after tutorial video after tutorial video on how to use the program. NVIDIA Broadcast specifically. And working on it for like a day. Like, why is the menu that everyone else is seeing so different than mine? And just watching and just being so confused. But why? Why is this just... Sorry, there's like something on the top of my microphone. I need to get it off. Sorry if you can hear this. But if you can't, that means it's working. So that's nice. There. That's gonna have to do it for now. Okay. Like a little fuzz, I don't know. You can barely hear that shit. That's awesome. And just searching form after form after form after form. Why is the slider not working? Why does the slider not exist in the actual app? What's up with that? To discover, like pretty much after I got off the stream earlier, to discover barely a month ago, 3 to 4 weeks ago, right as I've been kicking this shit off, like really genuinely kicking this shit off, that NVIDIA updated their broadcast app for the first time in 3 to 4 years. And forum thread after forum thread of up to date stuff being like, why did they take out every single feature that we all used? I'm gonna be like, it's worked perfectly for ages. Why did you take out every essential feature we love? Why'd they do that? Why would they do that? And as someone who wasn't there for this moment, I also have to ask, why would they do that? And invalidate every tutorial video on the internet. For what reason? This does not suppress my chewing, but that's fine. You get to live with it. And like, having a panic attack because this seemed like the best option I had for noise suppression, right? Which is great because it's like I basically built everything else around getting it in eventually. At this point, so like I'm mega fucked if I can't get this thing to work now. And then, thank God, well, a bunch of people are basically going, yeah, you gotta re-up it to you gotta basically go back to the last update, last version, basically. You gotta install to the previous version. And I'm like, I don't have that. Yeah, roll it back. Roll it back to the previous one. And I'm like, shoot me. Shoot me in the nards. Shoot my cock off, man. And I'm freaking out at this point. And eventually, I find someone in one of those threads is like, hey, here's the old version. Here you go. And I'm like, that guy? Shout out to that guy. Saved my fucking life. And then, I install the old version. Uninstall the new one, install the old version. And I'm like, man. Thank God, now it's gonna work. And then I thought, okay, now here we go. And then it didn't work for like 30 minutes. And then it turned out that certain things just hadn't fully enabled, even though I had restarted OBS. Because you always restart OBS when you add something to OBS. You always restart OBS when you add something to OBS. I already know that. So I did that, and nothing was working. Then I restarted OBS a second time, and then it actually took. So that was a little bit of a panic, but hey, at least it worked. Then I spent like a good hour basically doing all my EQ settings and sound settings from scratch. Because I thought it was a good idea to not just like put them in, put the new stuff in, but also like re-go through the whole process. Do it slowly. Don't half-ass it. Don't throw things together without full understanding of what each knob you're doing is doing. Just because it was like 4 or 5 days ago when I did those. Just watch the first video that showed me how to put everything in place. Take it slow. Put everything in naturally, and then just move on from there. You know. Do it correctly, or don't fucking do it. I spent like an hour, you know. And then at the end of that, I had wonderful voice settings ready to go. then came time to use my the application. Someone I had already been shown to. By the way, I have like four of these left, and then I'm gonna put it away, and then I'm gonna tell the story much faster because I'll be done eating. And so I went to go use the applications I'd already been shown on how to do advanced EQ settings and stuff like that. And they were behaving a little weirdly. I was like, ah, whatever. No big deal. And I was like, oh, wait. Oh. I get it. So I closed OBS again to just let me finish at this point. Just one bite. Let me walk this to the kitchen, then I'll tell the story for real. None of this nonsense. Okay. I'm back. Just let me plug myself in. Then we'll be off to the races. So, as I was saying. Hey, bud, come here. Hey, bud. Let's cuddle now. Come here. So let's get this mic arm in the correct position now. I sit down. I restart OBS one last time because I'm like, yeah, it's being a little funky. And then OBS crashed. What? What? I mean, OBS crashed. So OBS crashes, and I'm like, what? What's going on here? That's kind of weird, I think, to myself. OBS crashed. What's going on? Then I'm like, okay, do it again. OBS crashed again. What? What do you mean OBS crashed again? And I'm like, what? Do you want to run OBS in safe mode? Yes, I do. Okay, do that. OBS crashes. And by the way, when I say crashes, I don't mean I start it up and it's going for a minute and then like flipping through settings and then it crashes. I mean, boot. Before it comes up, it crashed. Do you want to boot it in safe mode? Before it comes up, it crashed. Hey, by the way, yeah, I know you tried to start it in a safe mode, but it crashed. What? I can't get to OBS. I can't get into it to get a log report or a crash report. Any of these things that I discovered existed in the aftermath of that process that took another 3 hours after that. And I'm like, okay. Now I'm in panic mode. Because now I can't start OBS. Losing all my scenes would be disastrous. I've also never gone through that process before. This is the first time. So, the process of how to back any of that shit up was not a thing that I knew. I didn't know. I've never had to think about this stuff before. So I frantically scour the internet for why won't OBS start. Every forum is like, yeah, put in your log. Okay, how do I get to my log? Oh, your log, you find that in the help section of OBS. How do I get, wait, in OBS? What do you mean by in OBS? When you open it up, right? And there's the little help tab, and I'm like, I can't open the app! I can't open it. I can't open the application. It doesn't open. I can't get to the help section because the application doesn't open. It just crashes the minute when I boot it. Okay, internet, are we understanding each other? And, whew. So over the course of the next 3 hours, I spent that time frantically trying to figure out how to get OBS to come back, and not throw away all my hard work in the process, because that would be also bad, because then I would have to spend the next several days putting all that shit back in before I could stream anything again, and that would just be the worst thing ever. And then I find multiple threads on, oh, you gotta make sure that you can view OBS. You gotta make sure OBS can go beyond your firewall. You gotta make sure that you can run it as administrator. None of that worked. You gotta make sure that OBS functions by understanding what you're trying to ask of it. I go to the OBS crash log analyzer on their website. I'm like, thank God there's a thing that analyzes the log it's spitting out, because I can't fucking read this thing. I've never seen this thing. I don't know what the file format is. Lovely people in some forum threads are like, oh no, you don't have to read the whole thing. It's actually the text, it highlights the text that made it crash right at the top. It tells you. Right at the top, it tells you what actually made it crash. And I'm like, okay, that's helpful actually. That's genuinely helpful. And I sit there and I try until I eventually just got, I assume, okay, maybe it's RTX noise. So I uninstall even the older version of RTX noise. And I'm like, okay, now it's, maybe now the thing that I just installed, the big thing that I just installed will allow, it being gone will allow me to get in, right? Try to open OBS, won't open. Still won't open. Not in safe mode, not in anything. Panicking. This is like an hour and a half in. Searching, Google searching, all sorts of different stuff, trying to figure out anything about why OBS wouldn't boot in any capacity. Most people's OBS crashing problems over the years seem to have been related to OBS was on for like 5 minutes and then crashed, so that they were able to open their thing, get the log, and then spit it into the OBS log analyzer. Turns out the OBS log analyzer doesn't read crash logs, which is the thing it spits out when it crashes. In order to give OBS anything it needs in order to figure out why your shit crashed, you need to open OBS. You need to open OBS and get the log from the help section, which I couldn't do because OBS crashed on boot every time I tried to boot it for 3 hours. So then, eventually, while searching through thing after thing after thing, I uninstall the new version, or technically the old version of RTX noise. It still doesn't work. It still won't boot. It still won't boot. If this is around the time when one of those threads showed me, or rather wasn't explaining to me, but I was reading an old forum thread where someone basically explained, this is how you actually read a crash log to look at what the problem is. It highlights at the very top, this is the string that actually caused everything to fail. And I look closely and I realize this has nothing to do with RTX noise. This is about Reaper plugins, which, if you're not familiar, is an audio/EQ balancing program that you can both have as a native thing on your PC and also as a regular plugin straight to OBS. This is something someone advised me to install relatively early, so it's been there for a hot minute, but hadn't actually gotten around to using that because that was complicated shit. So I'm like, okay, we'll save that for later, right? Apparently there was some sort of conflict with it and RTX noise that just caused OBS to not even try to open. Not even a little. Eventually, and then I spent the next hour trying to figure out how to delete that shit because it wasn't actually in the program folder it was supposed to be in. Turned out it was somehow in a program folder relatively close to it, but weirdly obfuscated, also hidden behind hidden folders and app roaming data that's hidden in the fucking PC by default. So, after all that, I finally find all the Reaper plugins, which are thankfully isolated in their own folder away from all my regular OBS plugins. i.e., I'm able to do it without deleting all my shit. I hide it. I find it. I delete that folder. And I'm convinced, because the RTX noise shit didn't work either, I'm convinced that even when I uninstall that, it's still not going to let me open it. I'm convinced that it's still not going to let me fucking open that folder. And then it fucking opens OBS. And OBS is back. And I have a treat for you. I've noticed some people coming in and out. Well, everybody that's not still here, you're about to miss a treat. Because I have something special for you, as well as the VOD people. When I got OBS to come back, I had the foresight and the internal willpower to immediately hit the record button to capture my exasperated cries of both terror and anguish and relief, but mostly terror being informed by exhaustion. And I will now play that clip for you. Straight from desktop audio. So that you may see the moments that I finally got OBS back. So, everybody that's jumped in for a minute and left, you lost. You lost tonight. Everyone else, which is no one because no one's actually here, but in the future, when you look at the VOD, here is your treat. Alright, here we go. Okay. No one's actually here. Alright. But in the future, when you look at the... Oh god. Turning off my own video feed of the stream so that you don't hear it again would probably be wise. You don't want to hear my voice again after that. My bad. Have fun with this. I think the grudge might have possessed me at the end there. It was a little terrifying, actually. Well, all right then. Well, so yeah, that was a little journey. That was the first 30 minutes. So hey, there you go. That being said, I actually do kind of want to quickly, oh yeah, right, turn that desktop audio off. I don't want to hear that again. Let me just make sure that audio actually played correctly. Oh good, it did come across good. Alright. Well, now that I have a Phase 3 calibrated microphone with proper noise suppression tech in it now. Let's go ahead and actually play the video game for at least a little bit. This is not going to be a big session. This is just a everything hurts session. I'm going to turn this off for a second. Turn off the video signal on that for just a moment. I don't want you to see the no signal symbol that the capture card throws up for a minute while it's loading. Damn it, you did. There. Okay. All right. All right, there we go. Okay. Oh, also during that process, I discovered that that desktop audio has been down to negative 60 decibels for a while, and I'm not actually sure why I did that, but there must have been a good reason, and it's now not at that, so I'm going to find out in real time. That being said, desktop audio is muted. I think it's because I wanted to separate game audio from everything else. Or separate game audio from desktop audio, because I wanted to, I think I wanted to get text-to-speech working, so I think that was part of the issue. So yeah, okay. So there you go. That was a fucking adventure. Wait. The capture card screen is okay, good. It was blank for a minute. Okay. Hey there, bud. What are you doing, sweet kitty? So yeah, RTX noise voice suppression is now on. Meaning, you can now hear me dramatically better. Also readjusted my bass, my EQ settings a bit. But also, I can drop this fucking remote on the table. And you didn't hear it, did you? I say as I wait to hear the audio recording and realize if you heard it or not. Hell yeah, you didn't hear it. That's awesome. Well, there we go. So guess what? Now I have entered phase 3 era of microphone, i.e. RTX voice or noise. RTX, have I been right? I've probably been interchangeably switching between RTX voice and RTX noise, to be honest. I've probably been very inconsistent. It's actually noise. It's RTX noise is the name, but I've probably been just saying RTX voice and RTX noise the whole time. I'm probably just randomly changing between them at bizarre intervals, and that's just sort of how it's been, I guess. So yeah, anyway, that was a trip. Yeah, wow, that was a lot. God damn. Oh, hi there, guys. Which means now we have entered phase 3 of the microphone setup, which is the proper microphone setup, which is to say it is now calibrated and all my settings are in. But however, phase 3 does not mean the ending. Phase 3, and this is another thing, is that I wanted to do this tonight still, but everything else took so much fucking time now I have no time for it. Also, I couldn't figure out how. And now I actually need to discover how. Which is that, I would like to now punch in new EQ settings based on a real dynamic EQ modifier, but it looks like RTX voice or noise actually can't by default. And I'm very nervous about using Reaper at this point, although, to be fair, if Reaper does fuck up on me again, I can just delete that folder and it'll run again. So at least there's that. If it does start not booting on me again, if I did install Reaper again, that would at least... I would at least know how to fix it. So there's that. So maybe I shouldn't be too worried about it. I wouldn't mind getting Kenzo, actually. So yeah, gonna need to figure out what I can actually use now, because it kind of looks like the answer has become not the tools that I was expecting to use. But I'm going to be on the lookout for settings that can give me access to like 5 or 6 band waves of EQ. Possibly even Nova is one that I also have installed, that I was of the mind looked too complicated for me, and that I wasn't going to be able to use that over, say, Reaper. But now I may not have no choice. So I'll see if I really don't have 10 quality components. So I guess we'll see what ends up happening. But now that we've entered phase, we have exited phase 1 to 3 of microphone dynamic setup, in which now we have the microphone sounding like this, which is, in my opinion, its finished state. In terms of the setup, the practical setup is now done, which is great. However, there is one more phase, which is, of course, as I've been trying to tell you, the act of actually putting in a properly modified, modulated, tweaked to my own specificities EQ setting, not dependent on OBS's 3-band setting, which is apparently very limited. And also somewhat but basic, apparently. So from what I'm told. And once I do find a program that can suitably take that thing's place, we will begin the final phase of microphone setup. Microphone setup. KIWAMI. KIWAMI. Microphone KIWAMI. Phase KIWAMI. So yeah, I don't even know. We're not going to be streaming this for very long tonight, to be honest. This is sort of just I'm here for a little bit to go over that. Call it a bonus session, if anything. I'll make a little progress, but yeah. Doing well. She's one hell of a ship. Of course she is. Of course she is, with all the assistance I gave her. Do you see what else I can provide? Do you want to see what else I can provide? I'd love to try crafting cannons. Oh, it's literally just showing you that that's an option. They really didn't expect you to do this ahead of now? Wow. They really didn't expect you to do this, huh? That's crazy.
Here, finished up. Here, finished up. That'll do it. That'll do it. Here, finished up.
There. Will you be in Hawaii much longer? Nah, once I'm ready, I'm heading straight back to Atlantis. I see. Well, come back when you have more materials. It's vital to regularly maintain a ship. Her enhancements could make all the difference. Sure thing. I'll be back. So yeah, I gotta say, I'm really, despite the insanity that I had to go through to get that thing working, I think the results speak for themselves. Because the mic does sound phenomenal. Oh, sorry, I didn't even showcase what I spent so long trying to fix. Hey, here's me clapping. If you saw the beginning of the last stream. Hey, look, you can hear me clapping again. And if I try to pick the mic, sorry about that. I probably should have warned you before I did that, but it worked. You could hear me the whole time. So the clapping works. I probably should have given a warning about that. So the point is that I tried really hard to get it to cut my voice off, and it didn't. The compressor did its job to keep me down from actually picking your ears, and the limiter made sure I didn't actually hit the red. But by and large, I did not, thanks to those tools. So, yeah. So well, there you go. It all worked out. I only want to die mostly after that. If you want... This game is so much fun. Yes, it is. Wait, hold on. Read your name there. Anthony Jordan, Movies and Gaming. You came in at a hell of a moment after I spent hours fixing my OBS setup. And if you want to hear the story of what and how badly that went down, you can go back to the start of the stream, because this stream will be a pretty short one. It's mainly just coming back on live to be like, I fixed it. I only mostly want to die because OBS tried to kill me. But we're back, and the mic now sounds fantastic. And I only had to put myself through an entire meat grinder to get there. Treasure chest.
My treasure senses are tingling.
I hate OBS. Oh yeah. I just learned that the hard way. To briefly summarize, basically, after finally getting RTX Noise to cooperate, which involved, again, as someone that didn't know any of this shit until like 3 weeks ago, and was just streaming off the goddamn console, discovered that all the fucking tutorial videos on how to use RTX voice are multiple years out of date because this month they updated that shit's app, that thing's app, to remove all the features everybody used. And it was like, and then because of the way Reaper plugins plugs into OBS, OBS literally wouldn't boot for like 3 hours. Like, not even like crashes after a minute, like wouldn't boot, even in safe mode. And so I tore myself to pieces trying to fix that, but I got it. I love how even though he loses his memory, Majima is still the same person he always was at his core. Yeah, I don't know if you're making a joke about that, or like you think that that's lazy writing or something like that. For the record, I think you're being sincere, and I also agree with that. But it's funny because I saw several reviews being like, yeah, the memory amnesia stuff really kind of ruins the game because it's like it just doesn't feel like Majima, and I was kind of waiting for that moment where I was like, oh, it doesn't quite feel like him to kick in, and I'm like, no, he's still clearly Majima. Like he's so Majima, it actually is. If anything, I feel like they could have gone harder on the amnesia thing and gotten away with it pretty easy. Like, I actually feel like, if anything, he's a little too much like himself. But, like, I think that was the right choice, honestly. Because, like, it's still a Majima game. So, let me check. At this point, are we pretty much just heading out on the boat? Yeah, we have time to come back and do some of the other quests later, so let's get on the taxi and go. Let's get out on the sea because we didn't get to do that in the earlier session. Oh, right. No, wait, sorry. Smartphone for teleport. There we go. All right. Harbor Park. I mean, I guess I could do a little dragon cart on the way out. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of dragon cart. There, Gorakun. Do you want to play some dragon cart? You know, maybe I'll play some dragon cart. Oh wait, wasn't there that one guy who wanted to challenge me? Yeah. Where is he? What happened? Wasn't there that one guy that wanted to challenge me to like a death race? Or maybe I have to do it in here. Yeah. Oh, didn't give her an English voice, huh? Duel. Oh, it's here. Okay, gotcha. Make all your rivals cry for limits on that. Gotcha. I've seen people complaining that the game is a little too absurd, and I've just, if you've played a Yakuza game before, I had a whole rant about this yesterday, actually, that like, I totally understand when someone has like a moment, sorry, I don't need to pause for this. I totally understand when someone has a moment where like, they check out and they're like, oh, this thing, I don't know, it's not, I'm not feeling it anymore. I understand that feeling, right? I get it. What I don't understand is like, okay, here's the thing. If you survived, I'm gonna pull the mic really close here. If you survived rubber bullets in 4, and your thought process was not anything other than what mine was, which was, this fucking rules, which was how my brain interpreted that. This is the best thing ever. It's how my brain interpreted rubber bullets. If your brain got through that sequence as something else, as, oh, this is too stupid and I hate it, and you didn't check out there, you have no excuse anymore. Damn! That's for real. Okay, shit. Like, when someone wants a thing to, like, this series has been like this for a long time. It's not a new thing. Like, this game isn't even as absurd as, like, Infinite Wealth, in my opinion, to be honest. I think there's actually stuff in Infinite Wealth that was crazier. In a positive way. And I feel like at a certain point, there becomes a moment of, like, we can just accept that, like, Oh, wow, this is actually kind of tough. If you are the person who's out on these things at a certain point, that's okay. You can just walk away. You don't have to be like, oh man, it ruined the core of the... No, you just didn't understand the thing. You can just leave. It's okay. Not everything needs to be for everybody, but we don't show up at... I think the analogy I used yesterday is when Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out, if you go into that game and you're like, man, they're just talking about darkness, light, light, darkness, light, light, darkness, light, and it's bad. If you go into that game saying that shit on the way out, that's on you, man. You fucking knew what you signed up for. That at a certain point into a series life, everybody that's in for that thing is coming for that thing. If you're not here for that thing anymore, that's okay. Go do something else. If people are still vibing with that thing, you don't go to the buffet that's stocking shrimp and be like, why is there so much shrimp here? They told you the shrimp was gonna be here, idiot. You're not smart for pointing it out. Yeah, they told you what was gonna be in the fucking buffet. You're not a fucking Nostradamus fucking you're not a fucking fortune teller you're not a fucking fortune teller for figuring this shit out. You didn't figure out the Da Vinci Code. Oh man, Yakuza's kind of silly now, isn't it? Yeah, we've been there. We've been new. Where you been? The Yakuza series, the Yakuza cycle, you laugh, you cry, then you laugh, you cry, then you laugh so hard you cry. Exactly. And if you're not vibing with that, I feel sorry for you, genuinely, at this point. If you're out, then you're out. But don't show up to the party that everybody else is having fun at, being like, man, this would be better if it was more for me. No, go away. Everybody else is having a great time. It's okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It annoys me sometimes. Like even the people that are sometimes like, man, Persona would be so cool if it wasn't like in high school and it had like an adult cast. And if they want to make one like that, I'll play it. I'd love to check it out. I'd love to see what they would want to do with it. To be honest, I'd be curious. You know, like I would probably be. I wouldn't say I'd be more or less enthused, to be honest. If that's the direction that team wanted to go in, I'd be into it, you know? But like, you know, like, but like, if you want a big turn-based RPG about a bunch of 40-year-old washouts, guess what? There's Yakuza 7 and 8 for that. It's from the same company. It's pretty great. We don't need to ask the series that is about one thing to change just because we want it to, you know? If that's what the people making it want to make, then don't show up to the party and be like, man, why are they still in high school? If people are actually bitching when Persona 6 comes out, for example, about like, man, why are they still in high school? Why is it a bunch of this shit? Like, man, because that's what we're here for. Like, if you're not, then just admit you aged out of the series and then go somewhere else. It's fine. Yakuza will probably fulfill that niche for you, to be honest. The Yakuza series. Oh, sorry. I already read that. Dishwasher's broke. Is that a comment about OBS? I'm actually not sure. Or is that like something? Making sure my audio is fine. Yeah, like my thing is sometimes people get a little like, I want this thing to be more for me, and it's like, but are people currently enjoying it? Yeah, then you're not. Then they're not the problem, and neither is the thing. If a series has hit that grounding point where no one's feeling it anymore, right? That's different, you know. You know, when God of War Ascension came out, everyone wanted to fucking move on. Even the people that liked what it was were like, okay, I think we probably ran this into the ground at this point. That's when you go, okay, maybe it's time to reinvent it if we're gonna try it again, you know? But like beyond that, just like it's silly to come to a series that has fundamentally been one thing for a while and be like, man, I can't believe it's still this. Like, no, that's a you thing. This is a you problem. Go away and let everybody else enjoy their thing. It's fine. There are plenty of things out there for you. It's one of the karaoke songs at Infinite Wealth. A character is singing his heart out, trying to... But a lost love, Kiryu... Freaking aimed in a weird way, so I can't read it. Kiryu and is ranting about a broken dishwasher. I don't remember that one. What's the name of that song? You know, sometimes I listen to the karaoke songs once, and then every time after that I regret that. And I'm like, I should have listened to that one way more. It's funny how this game I've actually done that a lot more. Like I've intentionally gone back to the karaoke machine a lot more in this game. Although they put it on the ship, which makes it easier. I don't remember that song. What is the name of that song? I'd love to go check that out. That one is completely slipped out of my brain.
Too slow. Sucks to be you, pal.
Meanwhile, you're just kind of like, man, this fake Yakuza fan over here don't even know the dishwasher song. I've played every game, I promise. I've done almost everything in every game. That's why we're doing RGG Fridays on the channel, so that I can hit all the little notes that I hadn't in the times that I did go through them. Because there are a couple things throughout the cycle. If I could love the one I love. Well, that does sound familiar, that name. I think I do remember the song, but the dishwasher thing escaped me. But to be fair, I would have been hearing it largely in the smartphone, which plays the Japanese version. Oh God, no! That's very tight.
Touch me now.
There we go. Oh, that was a bad time to do it. Yeah, I gotta check. No! Thank you! Well, thank you, guy in the back. Hey there, sweet kitty. Did you come to see me? Ah. I'm trying to figure out why my YouTube chat on my actual work PC monitor was not showing up, and that's why I was having trouble reading all these. Okay, I guess I had to refresh the page, but at least there's that. My first Yakuza was Like a Dragon, then Infinite Wealth. Oh, like Yakuza Like a Dragon, then Infinite Wealth, then Zero Kiwami 1 and 2, then 3, then Judgment. Played some of 4 till this came out. 4's a really good one. I'm gonna be very careful, though, because I said a thing earlier in this conversation that may have given a thing away about a certain future game, and I now need to be careful of not saying which one it was, because I don't want to spoil you. But yeah, there's a... I'm also not going to point out which thing I was talking about, because I want to be very careful not to give anything away for you, because you're clearly having a great time. If you're at 4, you're in for a treat. 4 is a really good one. 5's one of my favorites. It's really big, though. It's the biggest one before Infinite Wealth crowned it. And I will be real, the worst thing about it is that you can't sprint. So it's although you're used to that in 4, but 5 has like a bunch of new cities with weird invisible walls sometimes, and that becomes more of an issue. So you're gonna be taxiing around a lot more. But I love 5. 5's awesome. 5's a great game. I love 5. I love the shit out of 5. Love the shit out of 5. And some people have issues with 6, but I have a soft spot for it. It has issues, for sure. For sure it has issues. For sure. But I cannot help but love the shit out of 6 for various reasons. I think 6 is absolutely worth people's time, especially as the only game in the series with fully voiced sub-stories all the way through. Which was so expensive they stopped doing it. It is really something to actually hear Kiryu's voice actor go through the vocal stuff with all those characters. It is actually quite something. I appreciated that they really tried to do something really ambitious with that one. That game unfortunately suffers from being the first game in the Dragon Engine, and so they had to rebuild a lot of stuff. But other than that, I think 6 is really great. I also think the ending is a little weird. I love where the game ends. Kiryu's was supposed to end Kiryu's story before they decided to bring him back. But I do understand. Know about the part in 4 where Majima fights his brother and protect Haruka from the sniper. That's not the bit I'm talking about. But yeah, that's actually a relatively small spoiler, to be honest. There's much bigger and funner stuff in 4. What character in 4 are you on right now currently, if I can ask? Like, what? Whose character's arc are you on right now? I don't really think there's a bad pick in the bunch. Even Tanemura, who I don't care for as much as the other two, but only because Akiyama and Saejima are the best. Even he's pretty great. He's also basically the prototype for Yagami in Judgment, because he's like a cop. Oh no.
No, you don't.
The last second, damn.
Sucks to be you, pal.
So in that respect, Tanemura is actually pretty cool.
Oh no.
He's gonna win. That's alright, that's alright, that's alright. That's alright. It could be worse,
I have finished.
Yokozuna. Akiyama. Okay, so you're still in the early part of the game. Yeah, okay. Well, guess what? Akiyama rules. Akiyama's the best. Akiyama's one of those characters that starts up and you're like, where is this going? And then by the end you're like, oh yeah, no, this guy rules. This guy fucking rules. When they finally got to him having an English voice in 8, I gotta be honest, I was so... Every fucking English casting they did made me nervous when I first heard them for a second. But in pretty much every case, they won me over. Instantly. The guy that they picked for Akiyama in 8 rules. Love that guy's voice. He's so good. He's perfect for it. Like, I was so like, oh yeah, no, that's a hard role to cast, and they nailed it. I've even warmed up to Young's Kiryu at this point, which I had pretty big issues with at first, because I have a lot of very strong feelings about Kiryu, but Young did win me over by the end of Gaiden. And then I was totally fine with him in Infinite Wealth. I thought he grew into the role fairly well. Admittedly, in a very big game with a lot of lines to voice, he had a lot of time to grow, so fair enough. Ah, no. But yeah. To be honest, even though we basically just did like half an hour of Dragon Kart, I'm kind of considering, because of the hour it is, and the amount of work that I did just to get OBS running again, I'll probably get out on the seas. I'll maybe do like a Devil Flag, and then I'll probably call this extra stream. Just a few things that aren't super significant at this hour, just to be like, hey, OBS tried to kill me, but I lived, bitch. Played this with the dub yet, but I'm going to save that for New Game Plus. But based on what I've seen, Matt Mercer has done as good as you could expect for stepping into the shoes. Oh, he's fantastic. They understood right away with Majima in 7, even when they first started doing the dubs, that he was. They had a big set of shoes to fill with that one, and I mean they picked one of the most prolific voice actors in the industry. Mercer even I think the moment I went from, and you didn't really get to hear him do it that much in 7 and 8, because he's not in 7 and 8 much. But there are moments in this game, specifically in some of the songs even, where like, in fact, I'm gonna play my favorite song on the way out of the stream. Fuck it, why not? Where like Mercer is actually able to nail, and listen, Mercer's always great, but like he's actually able to nail that like that, like I can't do it. I certainly can't do Majima's like high-pitched hee, right? But like I try. Oh no. But like I could not. That was a moment as someone who's already generally very impressed with Matt Mercer's work in general, right? When I heard him do that in this game, it was a moment of like, oh, complimenting Matt Mercer's voice acting ability at this point almost feels trite. Like, yeah, we know he can do it, right? And yet, I still felt this thing inside my chest of like, oh no, this is impressive even for him. Like, this is actually, even for him, even for the talent I have already witnessed from him, I am impressed. You know? Dragon Card needs to be its own game. Well, you know, the amount of it they had in 7 was actually pretty solid, I think. It seems like this is more on the short end. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with Dragon Card from 7. I do want them to bring it back again. I mean, Jesus, I mean, fucking Dondoko Island was basically an entire-ass Animal Crossing game last time. Oh, it was a 4th circuit. Oh, shit, I didn't realize that. Okay. 24 Cinderella, yeah. It was that. That was the first one I did. The one that really got me though was as long as you're happy, which is my favorite Majima song and has been for a long time. Although he has always had a shorter selection, but that song means a lot to me. Like not even just for the series, like it means a lot to me for things we don't need to get into. But like, that was the moment I went from like, in this, okay, let me put it this way. The scene where Kiryu cries at the end of Gaiden, if you've played Like a Dragon Gaiden, which is great by the way, that's one of my favorite Kiryu scenes. And it took, I don't know if bringing Kiryu is back if that's the right choice after Ichiban's now in his own. I don't know if that's the right choice, was kind of my feeling. It took me from the feeling that way to, no, never mind. This was actually a crucial scene. We needed this. In fact, now I'm of the mind that what they do with Kiryu in 8 was also crucial and necessary, and they did have to bring him back for it. They had a good reason to bring him back. I actually fully agree now that it was the right choice. And I was very worried about that. I'm gonna go play that song right after we get out of here, actually, because I want to show it off in this version specifically, because that really made me go, yep, no, that was the similar bar for me of like, I need Mercer to nail this, and if he does, the rest of the game's a free pass. And he nailed it. I'm gonna go play that song right after this. I would have already been doing it if they'd let me out. Surely it's only 4 races, right? Thank you. Oh, come on. Like a Dragon as a game means a lot to me. I played it during a very rough stretch. Oh yeah, I think that's a good chunk of people coming into this insane mess. It is. It's my second favorite series, which is a lot because the one that meant the most to me for the longest time has become my third, and this is ahead of it now. And then I'm sure you can look at the channel for even 2 minutes and figure out what the number 1 is. Hint, we were already talking about it a bit ago. Let's fire those off because I want to have room for another pickup. Drift! Oh, good rebound. Shoot. They're like right behind me, holy shit. No. No. Yeah! Hell yeah. Sweet kitty, you're not going on the work desk. Nuh-uh, bud, come here. He's gonna plow through the microphone right now. Come here. Around. There we go. Yeah. Park it up here. Tie? Is that enough or is that a loss? Oh, they count that. Thank God. They're not that mean. Yeah, I'm gonna get on the ship right now and we're gonna go play that because it's very good. We're gonna go make the crew We're gonna go make the crew cry. Let's go make the crew cry and listen to the best song. And we'll honestly, we'll probably cap for the night because again, I spent 4 hours fixing the mic and then another 3 hours like getting OBS to turn back on at all. And that took a lot out of me. but I'll be streaming this again tomorrow if you'd like to show up. As I will be every day until the game's over. Because new games take up everything off the schedule until they're done, but also something for one of my favorite series would get that rule even if it wasn't a rule. Alright, here we go. Alright, let's make the crew cry. Only other voice actor I think would have pulled it off would have been Shredbaker. He could also have done it, yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised they haven't gotten him yet, but maybe they just think he's like too big. I'm still of the mind that Kiryu's English voice from 7 was perfect, and we didn't need to get Yong. But Yong has grown on me enough at this point. I'm totally okay with his Kiryu at this point, which is big praise because he means a lot to me. That says, I got the ultimate treasure earlier today, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it's very on brand. Is that like the thing at the end of the summon sort of instruments quest line, or is that like something you get when you get all of the treasures? I'm actually curious about that. But also, yeah, don't tell me what it is.
Just for now, that I was a king.
Unless that you're talking about the main plot thing, the Esperanza stuff. Alright, I'm gonna shut up now.
If that happened, I could assemble a harem of beautiful lovers just for me, babe. But if it made you so much as frown, I'd say no. I could live in an old shack out in the sticks, with a mattress as cold and as damp as a grave. And the only pillow I'd have to rest my head on would be as hard as a tombstone, fittingly. But if I knew it would help you to smile, it's okay. Skin me alive, poke out my eye, and send me to hell. Or I would burn to a crispy fry in the cool breeze.
Double flag stuff, okay.
If it kept you from crying, I would do it 10 times, 1,000 times more. If you're happy, then so am I. I don't mind at all. Let me suffer here, let me be alone. Bring it on. If you're smiling, then so am I. Just as long as you're fine. Don't ever cry or say you're sorry. Just keep going. If you're alive, then so am I. I don't mind at all. Don't be sad. No, not you. You're too beautiful. If you're happy, that's all I ever need. I thank heaven every morning to have met you. I love you. If you need to let me go now, I'm ready. I love you. I'll be fine and I'll be brave come tomorrow. As long as you're happy and safe, that's all that I need.
Ending in 0 broke me. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's astounding. Have you played the Majima story in KIWAMI 2? Because it is wonderful. Wonderful addition to that game. I think you said you played KIWAMI 2. Now I can't remember. Also, I mean, you probably wouldn't have skipped that, so probably a silly question, but just curious, because that was a wonderful little, maybe not sequel, but like a little epilogue to 0. I would refer to it. Also, if she's in this game at any moment, that might break me. Even if it's like a passing moment, it might break me. Please don't even hint at it if it's the case.
Good to see you back.
And don't tell me it's not either, because I don't even want to have that taken away from me as a possibility. It's a beautiful story. Yeah, it really was. All right. Well, as much as I would like to tell you that it isn't 2:30, but that was an exhausting 5 or so hours, however long it was since we stopped the stream at 8, in order for me to go see if I could get RTX noise to work God, this game's HDR is so weird. So bright. Yeah, we are gonna call it for the night. But again, we'll be streaming the game every day until it's done. I can relate. I have carried unresolved trauma over a girl for a few years, and we've kind of in the process of patching things over and over. Maybe being friends. Well, my friend is someone that has also gone through something similar. Somewhat recently. You're already a lot farther than I am. And maybe farther than I will ever get. Actually, probably definitely farther than I will get. So, I wish you enormous, genuine luck and good well wishes on that especially. Because that is a hard thing to overcome sometimes. But you're doing better than most. And I mean that genuinely. Alright. Before I end up getting too real. Yeah, so we'll be streaming this again tomorrow. I don't know what your time zone is, my friend, but you might be able to catch this again as well tomorrow. We're both live on Twitch and YouTube times are still being worked out. I'll start at some point. But yeah, you'll see it. Sub to the channel, all that stuff. I don't need to tell you what to do to find the stream again. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Stop looking at me like that, Daigo. Come on over there. Kick your ass if you really want me to. I'll put on the Daigo ship again. All right. Well, yeah, that's that. You know what? I'll let the stream go out on a at least some good music. Fuck it. Let's keep in theme. All right. Thank you, everyone, and every single one in this case.
All right. Who's the lucky winner today?
For showing up, hanging out, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow. Have a good night.
Get the wax out of your ears and listen up. Let's say, just for now, that I was a king, with the power to shape the whole wide world to my will. If that happened, I could assemble a harem of beautiful lovers just for me, babe. But if it made you so much as frown, I'd say no. I could live in an old shack out in the sticks, with a mattress as cold and as damp as a grave. And the only pillow I'd have to rest my head on would be as hard as a tombstone, fittingly. But if I knew it would help you to smile, it's okay. Skin me alive, poke out my eye, and send me to hell, or I would burn to a crispy fry in the cool breeze. If it kept you from crying, I would do it 10 times, 1,000 times more. If you're happy, then so am I. I don't mind at all. Let me suffer here, let me be alone. Bring it on. If you're smiling, then so am I. Just as long as you're fine. Don't ever cry or say you're sorry. Just keep going. If you're alive, then so am I. I don't mind at all. Don't be sad. No, not you. You're too beautiful. If you're happy, that's all I ever need. I'll thank heaven every morning to have met you. I love you. If you need to let me go now, I'm ready. I love you. I'll be fine and I'll be brave come tomorrow, as long as you're happy and safe. That's all that I need.